My feeling, very strong feeling, is that we're looking at a two-phase construction site in many of the so-called Inca stone monuments.
What we see is a culture who have got the technology to quarry giant blocks of stone, move them to the site where they want to build.
High in the Peruvian Andes, the stone walls of Sacsayhuaman feature blocks weighing over 100 tons, fitted together with impossible perfection. For centuries, we've been told that this was an Inca Empire's impenetrable fortress. But the truth is different. With modern technology, analysts realize these structures make no sense as fortresses or temples. They look more like components of a colossal machine. This isn't architecture. It's a lost technology with a purpose so powerful it had to be buried. This raises a disturbing question. What was the true function of this stone system? And what ancient power was so dangerous that the memory of it had to be deliberately erased from human history? The lie in stone. The journey begins high in the Andes, at the enigmatic site of Sacsayhuaman, where colossal stone walls seem to guard a secret older than memory itself. For centuries, the official narrative has presented this site as the pinnacle of Inca military architecture, a fortress built to protect the capital of Cusco. Standing before megalithic blocks, some weighing over 120 tons, and fused together with a precision that appears almost organic, the story seems plausible. Yet, when one examines this explanation with a critical eye, a profound and unsettling question emerges. This fortress was supposedly built to defend against whom? The historical record is clear that the Incas and their regional adversaries fought with weapons of stone and wood, relying on clubs, slings, and spears. To construct a defensive work of such incomprehensible scale and sophistication against these relatively primitive armaments presents a staggering inconsistency. It is the strategic equivalent of building a titanium bank vault to protect a child's drawing. The sheer disparity between the threat and the defense defies all conventional logic. This pattern of baffling purpose is not isolated to Sacsayhuaman. It echoes throughout the sacred sites of Peru, revealing a consistent and perplexing design philosophy. A journey to Tipon unveils an ancient complex of water channels, celebrated by historians as an Incan agricultural marvel. But the engineering on display far surpasses the needs of simple irrigation. Water flows through canals carved from solid rock, with gradients and flow rates calculated with a level of hydraulic mastery that would impress modern engineers, all to serve a surprisingly small number of agricultural terraces. Similarly, Machu Picchu, perched precariously on a perilously thin mountain ridge, is often described as a royal estate or a strategic citadel. Yet its location is a logistical nightmare and a defensive liability, easily isolated and besieged. These ancient wonders, when viewed through the lens of their accepted purposes, begin to look less like masterpieces of human ingenuity and more like magnificent, illogical follies. They feel like the remnants of a technology built for a purpose that had nothing to do with worship, agriculture, or human warfare. What if these familiar names, fortress, temple, estate, are not accurate descriptions but merely convenient labels, safe and simple explanations for something our modern worldview cannot easily comprehend? If these structures were not designed for the reasons history has assigned them, then it forces a far more fundamental inquiry. One must ask what the true underlying function of these silent stone machines actually was. The fingerprint of a different logic. To uncover the true purpose hidden within these stone structures, one must shift focus from the what to the how, and examine the meticulous design choices made by their creators. It is here, in the technical details, that the official narratives begin to completely unravel. At the ancient complex of Tipon, celebrated by conventional history as an Incan agricultural laboratory, an astonishing display of hydraulic engineering is on full view. Water glides through channels carved with surgical precision from solid bedrock, its journey guided by carefully calculated gradients and flow rates that maintain a steady, controlled current. This system is a masterpiece of fluid dynamics, capable of irrigating a vast expanse of land with remarkable efficiency. Yet, this incredible infrastructure serves only a handful of agricultural terraces, making the sheer scale and complexity of the waterworks a case of profound and inexplicable over-engineering. This was not the work of farmers building for sustenance. This was the work of masters demonstrating an almost obsessive command over water for a purpose that agriculture alone cannot justify. This same alien logic, a logic that prioritizes precision over practicality, reappears with even greater force at Ollantaytambo. Here, monumental blocks of pink granite, some weighing upwards of 50 tons, were subjected to a Herculean effort of transportation. They were quarried from a mountaintop miles away, dragged down a steep incline, hauled across a powerful river, and then lifted up another sheer mountain face to their final resting place. The official explanation calls this a fortress, yet the placement of these monoliths is a strategic disaster. They are located in positions that offer a poor defensive vantage point and are vulnerable to attack from above. However, these same stones are aligned with breathtaking accuracy to key astronomical events, tracking the movements of the sun and stars with the precision of a celestial clock. The builders made a deliberate choice, investing an almost impossible amount of labor not for military advantage, but to achieve a perfect alignment with the cosmos. A different set of priorities was clearly at play, driven by a logic that valued the sky over the land and perhaps the earth beneath their feet. Across these sites, a consistent fingerprint emerges. This is not the random work of different tribes, but a unified design philosophy implemented with unwavering consistency. The structures were not built haphazardly. They followed a sophisticated blueprint, a master plan guided by an intelligence that understood hydraulics, geology, and astronomy with a depth that we are only beginning to appreciate. This was clearly an advanced system of infrastructure, designed with a specific operational purpose in mind. But if it was a system, it would require a source of power and a method of control, a way to turn it on. Yet even the Incas, the undisputed masters of the Andes who inherited these lands, seemed to possess no knowledge of how to operate what they found. Why? The inheritors of silence. The most compelling evidence that this advanced knowledge was lost long before our recorded history begins comes directly from the Incas themselves. Their own architectural record tells a story not of creation, but of inheritance. Throughout Cusco and the Sacred Valley, a stark and undeniable contrast is etched into the very stones. Two distinct styles of construction exist, often literally one on top of the other. At the foundation of countless structures lie the megalithic, impossibly precise polygonal walls, with no mortar and no gaps, radiating a sense of timeless perfection. Built directly upon these ancient foundations are the walls of the Inca, which, though impressive in their own right, are noticeably inferior. Their stones are smaller, the joints are less precise, and they rely on a simple mortar of clay to hold everything together. It is as if a generation of master watchmakers was replaced by apprentices who could only assemble the crudest of clocks. The Incas were not the creators of this megalithic technology. They were its occupants. They discovered these monumental foundations, recognized their inherent strength and sacred power, and built their own empire upon them. They did not try to hide this fact. When the first Spanish conquistadors arrived, filled with awe at the cyclopean walls of Sacsayhuaman, they questioned the Inca rulers about their construction. The response was consistent and unambiguous. These structures were not built by them. The Incas attributed the work to a preceding race of giants, or to the Viracocha, creator gods who walked the earth in a distant, forgotten age. They revered these places, integrated them into their cosmology, and treated them as holy ground, but they never claimed the genius of their original design. They were the proud inheritors of a technology they could not replicate. This profound technological amnesia represents a critical break in the chain of knowledge. The Incas were brilliant engineers, masters of road building, terracing, and social organization. If there had been any lingering knowledge of how to cut, move, and shape stone with such impossible precision, they would have certainly preserved and utilized it. The fact that they did not, and instead resorted to simpler, more laborious methods, is a silent testament to the truth. They possessed the hardware, the magnificent stone structures left behind by their predecessors, but they had completely lost the user manual. The knowledge of the system's true purpose and its method of operation did not simply fade away over time. It vanished so completely that it had already passed into the realm of myth long before the Inca Empire even rose to power. This was not a gradual forgetting. This feels like a deliberate and total erasure. Decoding the machine. Let us for a moment discard the familiar architectural labels and instead view these ancient sites through the lens of pure engineering. Imagine them not as individual structures, but as interconnected components of a single, massive machine. When viewed this way, their strange and illogical designs suddenly begin to suggest a profound, unified purpose. Sacsayhuaman, with its iconic repeating zigzag walls, no longer looks like a fortress. Instead, its design bears a striking resemblance to a modern electrical capacitor or a harmonic resonator, a device built not to repel armies, but perhaps to gather, store, or modulate immense waves of energy flowing through the Earth itself. Its jagged geometry seems perfectly engineered to interact with seismic forces, not to withstand them passively, but to channel and transform them. This perspective radically recontextualizes the other sites. The elaborate water channels at Tipon, which seem so excessive for simple irrigation, could be reinterpreted as a sophisticated hydraulic cooling or pressurization system, essential for regulating a powerful energetic process. The concentric circular terraces of Moray, long dismissed as an agricultural laboratory, now appear as a potential acoustic resonator or a waveguide, designed to focus sound, light, or other frequencies into a concentrated beam. Its shape is eerily similar to modern phased array antennas, which are used to direct energy without moving parts. Seen through this new lens, the entire sacred valley transforms from a collection of scattered villages and temples into a vast integrated circuit board etched directly into the landscape. This was a machine designed to harness the fundamental energies of the natural world. Its components were precisely positioned to leverage the power of sunlight, the kinetic force of flowing water, and perhaps most importantly, the subtle yet powerful geomagnetic currents that flow within the Earth's crust. Each site acts like a specialized component, a node in a planetary network, all working in concert. The alignments are not just ceremonial, they are functional, timed to celestial cycles that influence the planet's energetic state. This was not architecture in the way we understand it. This was a form of planetary engineering, a technology so advanced and so integrated with the natural world that we have mistaken its functional components for religious monuments and military outposts. But if such a machine existed, its operational potential would grant its controllers a level of power that is difficult to even comprehend. Why, then, would such a revolutionary technology be abandoned? Or perhaps a more chilling question, was it not abandoned, but taken away? The Forbidden Legacy. History, as it is commonly told, is a narrative written by the victors, a simplified story of progress where knowledge is steadily accumulated. But nearly every ancient culture across the globe preserves a more fragmented and unsettling memory, a persistent legend of a golden age that was lost. These are stories of a time when gods walked among mortals, wielding extraordinary powers, an era of profound wisdom that ended abruptly in a cataclysmic event, often a great flood or a war in the heavens that tore the world apart. If the infrastructural system in Peru was truly capable of manipulating the foundational forces of nature, of generating or preventing earthquakes, altering the flow of major rivers, or even influencing regional weather patterns, then it was far more than a mere tool. It was the ultimate weapon. Any civilization possessing such knowledge would hold the power of creation and destruction in its hands, a power that could elevate humanity to a paradise or reduce it to ashes. Such a capacity would inevitably be seen as the ultimate existential threat by any rival power, or even by factions within that same civilization. The disappearance of this technology, therefore, may not have been an accident of nature or a gradual decay of skills. It is more likely the result of a deliberate act of suppression, the outcome of a forgotten ancient conflict where the victors made a monumental decision. They may have concluded that humanity was not, and perhaps never would be, ready for such godlike power. In a desperate act to ensure survival, they may have systematically dismantled the knowledge system, destroyed the records, and silenced the engineers, leaving behind only the inert stone hardware that no one would ever understand again. This act of erasure would have been the most profound and successful cover-up in human history, a conscious effort to sever humanity from its own dangerous past. The myths of destructive gods and fallen angels that echo in our earliest texts may not be mere fantasies. They could be the distorted allegorical memories of this very event, a warning passed down through countless generations. The knowledge was not just lost, it was forbidden. The stone structures were left standing not as monuments to be admired, but as silent, incomprehensible warnings. But could any tangible proof of such a destructive, world-altering event still exist? Could modern technology uncover the physical scars of a conflict that history has tried so hard to forget? When technology speaks. For centuries, the sheer scale and mystery of Peru's megalithic landscape remained locked in silence, its secrets guarded by earth and time. But in recent years, a new generation of technology has begun to peel back these layers, revealing a truth far more complex and interconnected than previously imagined. Satellite imagery and, more powerfully, LiDAR, a form of aerial laser scanning, have pierced through the dense vegetation and topsoil of the Andes. The results have been nothing short of astonishing. These scans have revealed that the major sites are not isolated wonders. Instead, they are nodes in a vast and intricate network of straight lines, geometric patterns, and underground structures that are invisible to the naked eye. This hidden grid connects mountains, temples, and water sources across hundreds of miles, forming a coherent, continent-spanning matrix. This is not a random collection of roads or canals. This is the blueprint of a unified system. Further geophysical analysis has added another layer of startling evidence. Surveys measuring the Earth's magnetic fields and the electrical resistivity of the ground have detected significant and unexplained anomalies concentrated directly around the megalithic foundations. These are not natural geological formations. The data suggests that the stones themselves, or structures buried deep beneath them, are actively interacting with the planet's electromagnetic energy field, altering it in ways we do not yet understand. In parallel, acoustic experiments conducted within these ancient chambers have recorded bizarre resonance phenomena. Certain rooms and stone configurations appear designed to capture, amplify, and focus sound waves, particularly at extremely low frequencies, known as infrasound, which can have profound physical effects on both matter and consciousness. The data is no longer speculative. It is a convergence of multiple independent lines of scientific evidence pointing to an undeniable conclusion. We are not just looking at old buildings. We are looking at the physical remains of a functioning, planetary-scale energy machine. The LiDAR scans have revealed the wiring diagram, the geophysical surveys have detected the power flowing through the circuits, and the acoustic tests have identified some of the operational frequencies. The technology of the 21st century is finally allowing us to see what was always there, a silent, sleeping giant of a machine, whose components are still humming with a faint, residual energy. The evidence has confirmed the existence of this incredible power system. Now, the final and most important question remains. What was it all for? The answer could redefine our entire understanding of the human story. The forgotten answer. When all the layers of evidence are assembled, from the illogical designs of the surface structures to the hidden energetic grid revealed by modern science, a single, coherent picture finally emerges. The megalithic constructions of Peru were not temples, fortresses, or palaces. They were the physical remnants of a planetary stabilization system, a form of geoengineering technology designed to regulate the tectonic stresses of the Earth's crust and maintain a balanced global environment. Its true purpose was not worship or warfare, but the preservation of life itself. The intricate water channels were not for farming, but for cooling and pressure regulation. The massive stone walls were not for defense, but for harmonic resonance, designed to dampen seismic vibrations. The entire network was a benevolent machine, a global life support system created by a civilization that understood the delicate mechanics of the planet. But this knowledge held a terrifying duality. The same technology that could soothe the Earth's tectonic plates could also be used to weaponize them. The power to stabilize the planet was also the power to shatter it. This was the forbidden, dangerous truth at the heart of their legacy. Following a catastrophic event, perhaps an operational miscalculation or an internal conflict that demonstrated the horrifying destructive potential of their own creation, the survivors were faced with an impossible choice. They chose to protect the future by burying the past. They dismantled the knowledge, erased the operating instructions, and allowed the true purpose of their creation to fade into the obscurity of myth. It was a deliberate act of technological sacrifice, a decision to return humanity to a simpler state rather than risk the ultimate annihilation. The greatest mystery of the Andes, therefore, is not how these ancient people built such impossible structures. The true mystery is that they possessed the profound wisdom and courage to walk away from a power so absolute for the sake of the common good. Their legacy is not etched into the stones themselves, but in the silent, enduring warning they represent. They are a testament to a lost chapter of human history where our ancestors wielded the power of gods, and then, understanding the inherent danger of that power, chose to become human again. Their final message was not one of conquest or glory, but of ultimate responsibility. When all the evidence is assembled, a complete picture emerges. Peru's megalithic structures were not temples or fortresses, but remnants of a planetary stabilization system, a technology designed to regulate tectonic pressures and preserve life. This knowledge, however, was a double-edged sword. The power to save the world was also the power to shatter it. That was its ultimate danger. Following a catastrophe, the survivors made a painful decision to bury this knowledge forever. The greatest mystery of Peru is not how they built these wonders, but that they had the courage to abandon such immense power for the common good. Their true legacy is not stone, but a silent warning.